Today on VIP TV, someone I've known for, must be nearly 30 years, when he was throwing the shots himself professionally. He only had a hand for the fights and was a good fighter on the London circuit. Now
Yes,
better
sir.
known as a trainer and manager, Tunde Ajayi. Thank you for joining us, Tunde, on VIP TV. And you're looking about 20 years of age now, the hair's grown.
You thought it was Pele, innit? You thought it was Pele, Steve. He's come back from the dead. He's there, man. I'm looking like a member of the fucking sorry the language, the Black Panther Party.
You're looking good, and you got the stamina for sale water. What's that there? I can see.
Listen, the new
Product
water,
placement.
stamina water. It will be available. Also, stamina for sale vitamin water as well. So we're in the process, but this is like the prototype. But we're good to go. You know, January, February 2021, it'll be in the shops. So that's mineral water, vitamin water. We're going all out.
You're not like Bill Boy from Only Fools and Horses.
Yeah, and you know I'm
This
from
is
Peckham as well.
spring.
You know I'm from Peckham as well.
Yeah,
So,
are you?
Yeah, that's my town, Peckham Springs.
Yeah.
Yes,
You look in good spirits. You're
Yes,
getting
sir.
Anthony Yarde ready for his Commonwealth title challenge against Lyndon Arthur next week. How good is this fight?
It's on paper, it's an excellent fight. You know, it's a real fight. I mean, you know, people. It depends who you talk to. You know, a lot of people are looking at it as like it's a foregone conclusion for Anthony just because of the levels, the opponents that we fought. But you know, Lyndon and his trainer Pat Barrett. You know, we respect them, and we're taking this fight as we take every fight, which is very, very serious because he's an unbeaten fighter. So he doesn't know what it's like to lose. And you know what it is with me and Anthony. You know, we bring entertainment. I don't train Anthony for a points victory. Every fight, I train him to knock someone out. And his mindset is always the same. So it's entertainment. Anthony is a crowd pleaser. He likes to entertain the fans. And he likes to put himself in the fans' position. And fans like knockouts. Yeah. That's why we all watched Mike Tyson.
Do you fear that, okay, not fear, that's the wrong word, because you fear anybody, but do you think there's a chance Lyndon might try and make it a dull fight, like he did against Dex Spellman, where he'll try to take away Anthony's power, which entertains, and make it a really dull 12-rounder where he's at range all the time?
Yeah, well, you know, my job is to study the opponent. And you can see to me, Lyndon doesn't have the killer instinct. He's a back foot fighter that, you know, when it's put on him, he reacts. I mean, I don't want to give away the game plan, but I don't believe in game plans anyway. I think it's all nonsense. But because you are what you are. And he's a very negative fighter because his number one attribute is his jab. So, as you say, with Dex Spellman, even with the Ghanaian, which was 2-0, you know, I remember John Rowland at the end of that fight saying, you know, going into this last round, it's a toss-up. Even that fight, it was only when he was just reacting to the pressure. You know, he wasn't making the fight, and he won't be able to do that with Anthony. Because if you try to do that with Anthony, it's just going to be an easy night because you can't run away from Anthony. You're going to have to fight at some point in 36 minutes. So, but he's good at what he does against a certain caliber of fighter. That's the difference.
Yeah. I mean, Lyndon has gone on about the 2 12-rounders, you know, being great experience for him, which they naturally would be. But that experience can't be anything like the education Anthony got from going to Russia and having the mindset for that.
It's like a Rolls Royce racing a Mini. Yeah. That's what it's like. Do 40 miles an hour in a Mini is not the same as doing 40 miles an hour in a Rolls Royce. It's different levels of experience. You know, Dex Spellman, you see what we done with Dex Spellman. I'll be honest with you, Anthony didn't even get out of second gear. And that's no disrespect to Lyndon's performance, but everyone's talking about Lyndon box his ears off. Hold on, that's not what the scorecards say. The scorecards never said you box his ears off. I think you won one judge gave it by 3 rounds, another judge gave it by 4 rounds, and then Terry O'Connor, well, I leave it as that. Terry, me old friend Terry, he had it a bit wider than that. And same with the Amin fight, Emmanuel Amin. It was a close fight. Now, the only common opponent is Dex Spellman, and Anthony literally just did what he wanted to do because it's levels, you know. And I just feel that without being disrespectful, because I would never be disrespectful to Lyndon or Pat, you know, this is a big step up. It's akin to us stepping up to Kovalev. It's his step up. It's his big night, and it's going to be all for him to take that experience away with him after the fight, because we already know what's going to happen in the fight. And I just feel that that's what this fight is about. It's for us. Both camps are confident, and they have to be, because Lyndon and Pat have never lost together. You know, and me and Anthony didn't lose. We learned a great experience in Russia, fighting not just a normal world champion, an elite world champion of many years, and coming that close to really writing history with the limited experience. So, you know, you can't compare the two. And Lyndon Arthur's jab is not the same as Kovalev's jab. I'll tell you that much.
You say you've never lost together. It was that was an experience you got education from, both of you right there. See, although you've been around, as I say to you, many years, people might not realise, but you've been around boxing since the early 1990s as a fighter.
100%.
You talk that to education, but you don't use the word negative, do you? You just take positives and everything.
Always, because nothing can exist without a positive and negative. It's down to the individual to search for the positive. But what we tend to do as individuals is always look at the negative. It's something I've never done. Even last night in the gym, me and Anthony was having this conversation. Nothing. I mean, our whole experience has been one of nothing but positivity. I mean, a young man with 12 amateur fights being presented and walking out at the Emirates Stadium before, after the Kovalev fight, you know, being recognized. Things like this, you know, that type of memories and motivation and it's all positive, Steve. You know, because you know, as you said, I've been around since the early 90s, but Anthony, it's been a meteoric rise for him. But when you see what he does in the gym and what he does outside of the gym for the community and the young kids and everything like that, it's absolutely warranted. And I just feel that our journey, as I said from the very beginning, was always going to be a positive experience. And we live for nights like this. We train hard for nights like this, and it's going to be a great night.
I mean, Anthony's only been a professional 5.5 years. He's still at 28, 29, so he's young.
It's amazing.
When the journey as a boxer ends, where do you expect it to have been? You both together as a team.
I don't see this journey ever ending, and I'll tell you why. Because our goals and our ambitions are so huge, inside and outside of boxing. You see now that the Box Up Crime gym has been open in Ilford, which we've got another big announcement on the gym. We'll do it after the fight. And so even after Anthony's fighting career comes to an end, which is going to be when he says it's going to be, he's going to be still involved with boxing, with the community. So again, I never look at anything as coming to an end. It's just, unless it's something that we say is going to come to an end. But I just feel Anthony is going to be around for a long time in the sport. He's still got so much to achieve. Because as you say, he is a relative novice still. It's just that, as I said, a wise man does at the beginning what a fool does at the end. I'm going to say that again, Steve. A wise man does at the beginning what a fool does at the end. And we went to the top of the mountain right at the beginning. So that's something you can never take away from us.
And tell us about having your own gym as such now, because before, you always had the Peacock, where that corner in the far corner from 2 till 6 in the afternoon, no one could come close. It was your gym that in the afternoon. What's it like having your own place now?
Say again?
What's it like having your own place now?
Well, listen, Martin will tell you, the Peacock's always there for us. It's always open for us. And this is not really my place. Right. It's Stephen Addison, the owner of Box Up Crime, and Anthony grew up together. They both started in boxing together as amateurs, but Stephen always had a passion for the young kids. Wow. And that's where his future lied. Anthony stuck with the boxing, and Stephen went about, trying to save these young kids' lives that were going down the wrong road. And it's really a tribute to Anthony. I mean, he's got, they've got emboldened, they've got a big picture erected in the gym of Anthony with the belts, and they've got a big Lions in the Camp sign on the belt. So it's like, I'm going to go where Anthony goes anyway. So it's really, but it's nothing. I'm very connected to Peacock Gym. It's my home. It has always been my home. And Martin, as I say, Martin just wishes us nothing but the best. And it feels, I wouldn't say strange, because even in Peacock, when we get in there, we don't see nothing. We just get to work. Yeah. So for me, it's listen, in the lockdown, we were training on my balcony. It's the same. It's the same work, So I say something Roger Mayweather said to me many years ago when I was in the gym. The gym don't make the fighter makes the gym. And that's what it is. And Anthony Yarde, he could train in a post box. The post box will get a name. He can train anywhere. He can train in it doesn't really matter. A gym is just a 4 walls that you do your work and you go about your work meticulously. And for me, that's what it's more about than as saying, we're moving off to another gym. It's just a different environment, but same work schedule.
Just that you were just part of that furniture in that corner every afternoon.
It's mad.
And they have that board in there of what times and all that.
Yeah.
For years, Tunde, 3 till 5, whatever.
It's crazy because I still walk into Box Up Crime thinking my locker's there, what Martin gave me. At the far corner, I take it and I get my pads out and get Anthony's out. It's crazy, and it just shows you that, repetition really does form a character. And, it's something I've been doing, Martin and Tony, really. And I always had other gyms saying, come and train now, come and train here, come and train there. And Martin I always said, the only way I would ever leave Peacock Gym is to go into our own gym. And that's basically circumstances made that happen. Nobody foresaw the coronavirus. The gym had to shut down for a period of time. The staff that worked there for so many years, Lynn, Karen, they're no longer there because of the circumstances. Yeah. So it's almost, call it serendipity, if you like. It's something that it just happened. It had to happen, and it just so happened at that particular time, Steve had got the funding from Ilford and Barking, and the gym was created. So we just had a home to go to, and as I say, the Peacock's always going to be my home. I'm always going to be connected to that, and Martin, I'm happy. I'm so happy for them and what they're doing, and hopefully tomorrow night they're going to come out victorious.
Yeah, well, a lot of people are hoping that, I think, mate.
Yeah, believe that. You don't need to tell me about that one. Yeah, a lot has been put on that.
I think everyone for Martin as much as anything. But before getting away from Anthony and the Peacock, more on yourself now. I think Anthony's the only fighter you train now, but you're now managing quite a few kids, aren't you? Can you tell us a bit about that? who you've got, and is that the direction you're going through? Are you going to stop training or?
Yeah, well, in 2000, yeah, that's a good question, Steve. Because in 2016, after I had the exodus of a few fighters, Daniel Dubois being one of them, um, and others, Craig Richards, and all these fighters, refusing to sign with me as a manager. I was training them, but they didn't want to sign a manager's contract. And based on my history in the sport of really just giving all of these young kids my all, my everything, and when it got to a certain position, they just walked away. And I was, again, me and Anthony was having this discussion just last week. I'm a man, I don't need a contract because my word is bond. Yeah. I've always been like this. But based on what has happened to me or the experiences that I've had in boxing, I was like, it was actually my cousin who said, you're going to have to get a contract, a manager's contract. So when I gave all the fighters that ultimatum, Anthony was the only one who stayed. So based on that kind of loyalty, I said I would never train any fighter but Anthony Yarde, as long as Anthony Yarde wants me. And it's so funny, now my phone doesn't stop ringing for people, for me to train and manage, because they know that's what it's got to be. I had to put my foot down and say, no, at least if I train you to a certain level and then you walk away, there's got to be some compensation for me.
Yeah.
As a and that's the only reason why I ever got a manager's license, just as some protection. And it's still something I didn't want to do. But such is the sport of boxing. So, but now, Anthony Yarde is the only fighter that I train. And that's a big thing, because I don't like saying you put all your eggs in one basket, because I don't look at it like that. I look at it as I've got something to bring to the table and Anthony's got something to bring to the table. And it's so funny that I've been saying all these years, trainers don't get recognition. I've been saying this for at least 15 years.
You said it to me, yeah.
I've been saying this 15 years, and now all of a sudden the WBC have caught up to the trick and awarding trainers belts. Well, guess what? Little Tunde Ajayi over the bloody other side of the world was saying this years ago. And I'm happy that the WBC have recognized trainers now. But the fighters I'm managing, I've got some great young fighters and in a novice stage of their career, and some amateurs that I'm really looking forward to. One of the kids, I've got two kids up north, which is Amin Jahanzab, and who's 8-0 now, and Raza Hamza, who's still unbeaten.
They're down the road from me. I'm in Manchester, yeah.
Yeah, Raza, and I really wanted one of them at least. It would have been good to get Raza on the bill. We wanted to fight Isaac Lowe if Tyson Fury was on the bill, but I think Isaac Lowe doesn't fight unless Tyson's fighting. But that would have been good for Raza. Obviously, he's at an advanced stage of his career, so there's not really much messing about with Raza. But Amin, the word I'm getting is he's a very, very dedicated, and he's a character. Something we need as fans in the sports. So I manage Amin as well. Down south in London, obviously Bilal Ali, young again. Bilal suffered his first defeat the other day. But again, a lot of people don't understand. Bilal only had 3 amateur fights.
Yeah, I know what you're telling me, yeah.
He only had 3 amateur fights. So sometimes it's, everyone's experience is different, and it's good to get that out of the way early in your career, because it makes you know that this is not a joke and you have to take this thing seriously. So Bilal's back on the trail. Frank Arnold, another 8-0 kid. He hasn't had his official fight with me yet, but that's coming. Young, good southpaw fighter. And then there's Malik Kareem, who is a serious fighter as a middleweight. So he is getting his university stuff all out the way. I think that's going to be done by January. Very articulate young man who I'm expecting a lot from. So he's going to be signed. He's waiting to go with the promoter with Frank. And And it's just the brand is getting bigger and bigger and bigger, you know. So there's Bilal, there's Malik, there's Frank Arnold, there's Amin Jahanzab, there's Raza Hamza, and some two good young heavyweight amateurs that I'm not talking about yet, because the last heavyweight amateur I spoke about, I remember I went down to Adam Booth and told him about this heavyweight. I remember I went to Frank Warren, I phoned up Frank Warren and I said, Frank, there's this heavyweight I've got. But me being so naive in this sport and telling people what I've got before it's actually happened, guess who that heavyweight was? One Daniel Dubois. And you learn a lot of lessons in this sport, Steve, and one of them is to keep your mouth shut. Something Anthony Yarde has been telling me to do from the start. But, you know, I can't help it. Like, I'm a bit of a chatterbox, and I always have the impression that, you know, everyone's happy for you. You know, everyone wants it, but you know the sport of boxing. And especially when you're like me, I come up from nothing. I don't have you know, I don't have £1 million to offer these kids signing on fees, or cars or holidays in Marbella. I just have my word. And unfortunately, or fortunately, when money gets in the situation, your word ain't good enough, mate. Your word ain't paying the bills. But that's the story.
But just one last thing before I let you go, because you've been fantastic giving us your time. I know you're busy and you're not been doing too much talking lately, so I'm delighted to...
Yeah, I'm literally no interaction on social media for 5 days. Can you believe it? Bloody hell.
Just one final question. You talked about loyalty earlier on. Now, you with Frank Warren, a lot of the trainers have taken fighters away. You always go to Frank with your fighters first, don't you?
Oh, I've always done it. You know, me and Frank, because you know me, I'm an emotional person, you know, and I put something on social media the other day. I took it off, but then I got a call from Frank in the morning. He's like, Tun, what's this? Is there a problem? Is there something that I don't know about? I'm like, Frank, come on, Frank. You know me, brother. I'm an emotional character, and I feel when I'm, you know, when I don't feel that I'm being looked at, I get angry. You see what I'm saying? But I think my track record with Frank shows that I'm a man of my word, and that's all I've got, really. You know, I've only got my word. That's my word. It's not a fighter's word or anybody's word. But for me, because I know that money can only do so much, you know, and if it was only about money, then, you know, everyone would be happy, you know, and that's just not the case. And I think that sometimes people, they jump ship or you know, they do things thinking, yeah, it's better for them, but when you look at their careers as a whole, it wasn't a good move. So again, I can't talk for anybody. I can't talk for Anthony. I can't talk for Dubois. I can't talk for any of these guys. But I'm just a person. My word is bond, and I say that publicly. But my word ain't bond if you're nicking off me or you're rubbing off me. That's when my word doesn't become bond, because it's a two-way thing. You've got to be honest to me, and then I'm honest to you. I'm not gonna continue to be taken the mick out of, and I'm there giving you loyalty, because that's what happened to me in the past, Steve.
Yeah, I know.
You know,
I know some of the fighters that have gone. You know, Kevin Mitchell, early stage of his career.
All of them. You know, I don't even want to give them the airspace, but
no, I just mentioned
but loyalty is a two-way thing. You know, I always believe that loyalty is a two-way thing. My word is my word. If I do what I say, you do what you say, there really should be no problem ever. You know, you take your lessons with your wins. You know, because we don't use that four-letter word that starts with L and ends with S. So we take the lessons and we take the wins, and sometimes you do a good deal, sometimes you do a messed up deal, a bad deal, but you stick with it, you know. And going back to the main man, Anthony Yarde, a lot of people was asking for him to leave me after the fight, after the Russia fight. And he told me, he said, Unks, if I told you the calls I was getting, you would actually go down and punch them in their face. I say, no, don't tell me nothing. But he's a very internal man, Anthony Yarde, and he's a loyal person. And I feel that that's why he's the one shining. He's the one topping bills. He's the one who started the whole Adidas signing boxers. It's all Anthony. He's the one that was brought out at the Emirates at halftime, and that's based on his loyalty. I don't put it down to nothing else. All these things happen after Russia. And that's a great sign for Anthony. It's not always, not everybody can be a AJ. Not everybody can be a Tyson Fury. And sometimes, you know, you just got to go with the level that you're at, because you reap what you sow in this world is something I believe. And I believe that no one gets nothing they don't deserve. And if you do, you won't have it for long. That's how it goes.
Tunde, you've been a star giving us your time today. Just wish you both all the best for next week. I hope fight week goes well. Nothing mad happens with tests in the bubble, and everything goes well for everybody.
Yeah, and thank you for this interview, Steve. You're looking younger every day. Bloody hell. I swear you was bigger than last. You're looking back, bro. You must be earning some...
I've put on a bit of weight during lockdown, but I'm still out running every day, mate.
That's understandable, but you're sitting down, level settees, everything's going nice, mate. Listen, I want to be like you.
All right, that's good. You take care.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
For all boxing info, news and latest interviews, amateur and pro, across the north, click and subscribe. VIP Boxing Promotions. Also, Twitter, Instagram and Facebook.